All right, the Bucks. It is Talking Buccaneers with me, Fumane Msisinyani, on a very good morning. The morning after the night before, the night when the mighty Bucks have battered the Duba Birds with 4 goals of ours, 1 goal of theirs. And just where I want to start off is this is the kind of show that I'm happy to do. I'm happy to come on here and talk about the great things that our club is doing. And yeah, very excited for this one. But before I get into it, just want to apologize ahead of time. I'm not feeling very well. Yeah, so if I sniff and drink water or wipe a tear or so in my eyes, because yeah, I've got a bit of a tear infection and I'm coming down with the flu. But let's not focus on that. Let's dwell on the more positive things. The Buccaneers have won. This is the headline that we like. We like to see our team winning games. And it was very important that we come into this one, and maybe they even exceeded my expectation. These guys, these great men working for their family, but also working to make us happy, have made us happy. They've made us happy people. We like to be happy people. We are happy people, but we like to be happy people, and they've made us very happy. They went to Dobsonville and they exceeded my expectations, and I bet a lot of people's expectations. I thought what was going to be important in this one was to just go out there, play well, win 1-0, win 2-0, get the result, right? They've went out there and they've won 4-1. Didn't see that coming. I think, having thought about the game a little bit now, having watched it back again and again, is what I realize is that this might be actually a credit to the technical team. I mean, I don't know, like these guys, these coaches, these men who are working for Pirates as the leaders, who are making these decisions. The head coach, his team, these analysts, these video analysts, they will have gone and watched Swallows and compiled a bit of footage to analyze. Okay, what's this team doing? How are they playing? How can we beat them? Right? And yeah, I think one of those things, I might be wrong, but I think they will have seen that um, you really don't need to play someone in the hole in midfield, because that's just one of the things that shocked me so much when I saw the lineup of Pirates. I thought, okay, well, I see that we've got Tim and Makaula in midfield. We've got Kabelo Dlamini. Is Kabelo Dlamini gonna be the player? Who's gonna be the creative spark for us? Really, but yeah, it seemed like Pirates wanted to go with a 4-2-4, right? Played in midfield with Tim and Makaula only. No one playing in the hole. Just four players up front against the three-man defense, because Swallows were playing a 3-4-3. So our four up front versus their three in defense. And in midfield, it was almost like a 2v2 battle, which was non existent. I think this is not a match where it was a midfield battle and it was one of those whoever wins the midfield is going to win the game. I think it was a case of if Pirates shows up front, they're going to win the game. That's it. Swallows had no threat at all. What they wanted to threaten with was set pieces and long diagonals into the ball. So maybe that's something that the coaches and his team will have identified, that okay, if we play Tim and Makaula, these are players who are going to be adept, and they did a great job at picking up second balls, right? So Swallows hoofs the ball upfield into that front line. Whatever drops in front of the box there, you need people who are going to pick that up. I beg your pardon. And maybe that's why Ndabaiteto Ndlondlo didn't play. It's because you needed someone like Makaula, whose first inclination is to clean up for the team. Tim as well. And that's what they were doing. Get the ball, win the ball, get it to the front players. And aren't you so impressed with the front players? I think that's just one of the things that's a massive positive for me from this game, is to be able to see the front players combining. I think very impressed. And a case in point is Pirates' third goal, Saleng's second goal. So a case where you had a 3v2, right, in a counter attack. And you've got Loch on the right, who's got his man. You've got Chukamanja in the center, who's got his man. And then you've got Kabelo Dlamini on the right. And I'm very impressed with Loch and Chukamanja, especially in this goal, because Loch realizes that he's got to play that ball first time. Doesn't dwell on it. And I think that's just part of like what makes Loch such a great player, is that he's very intelligent. And these are the decisions. And I'll get on to talk about Erasmus as well for the other goal. But these are the decisions that top players make. He sees that Lodge could have easily taken that ball, run onto that defense, wanted to take a man and get into the byline, maybe cut it back or something like that. But he sees a 3v2 situation in which Pirates can capitalize on. But before I give Lodge all of that credit, I think credit goes to Chukamanja as well, who makes an unselfish run. So the run that Chukamanja makes in that case, he's not asking for the ball. He's simply telling Lodge, I'm opening the space. So he's telling Lodge and Kabelo Dlamini on the other side that, okay, I'm telling you where to play the ball. I'm telling you what to do with the ball. Don't look for me, Lodge. So I'm going to drag the defender out. He's going to follow me, and you are going to play that ball for Kabelo Dlamini. And that's exactly what happens. Just the telepathy and the ability to communicate and be able to read each other like that. I think that's something that I really love and enjoy about our front line in this goal. And that's something that I want to see a lot. I want those combinations. I think if you have a front three, front four, whatever you're playing, and they can't combine, you are an unfortunate team. But if you've got front players who are good and they can combine, that's deadly because you just bamboozle the opposition. You guys just move around and they don't know where to follow, where to go. You guys can find each other. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Chukamanja goes out wide. Lodge plays a ball into Dlamini on the other side. Dlamini sees an angle that's tight, but he's already had his head up. He sees Saleng coming late into the box. Brilliant again. I love that. On runners, late arrivals. I beg your pardon. Late arrivals into the box. That's what Saleng does. Dlamini squares it. He plays it almost back, and Saleng comes onto it. Goal number 2. That's maybe my favorite goal in this game. That's actually my favorite goal. I love that sort of team goal and yeah, smartness all round, intelligence all round from the Pirates players, and yeah, very impressed with that. I mean, I'll get onto the negatives, or maybe let me, or just another positive that I want to point out is that Otto did brilliantly at left back. Such a solid left back performance from Otto. Know that he's capable of that sort of thing. I just think that sometimes he's played to his detriment, the way that we want to play him. Playing him at left wing back, expecting him to give us that output on the left side in attack and in defense, in that left wing back or left wing position. I think it just requires a lot out of Otto. And maybe he's actually or should adapt his game to becoming a left back. I think, I'll come out swinging and say this. I think after Marco, he's maybe a better left back for us than Innocent Mayela. I think Mayela is more of a left centre back now. At left back, I don't prefer him at all. And you guys are going to think I'm coming on here and saying this because of the red card. But if you've watched my videos, videos from like 3 weeks back or something like that, I've spoken about the fact that I think Mayela is not such a great left back for us. Decent left back, Bafana International previously in the past. But for Orlando Pirates right now, for us to be able to be a threat from the left back position and also be solid defending, I don't think Mayela is that player. I think he's good when we're playing a 3 at the back as a left centre back. He's okay, But yeah, Otto for me is very good cover. He's a very good deputy left back for Marco. Who again? Why is Marco playing at right back? But I don't want to dwell on the negatives. It's so hard to come on here, but I've got to find there are negatives even when you win. And they always say, great football minds always say that it's very hard to learn after winning. Very easy to learn after a defeat, but very hard to learn after winning. And I think one of the things that's going to be hard to learn from this game, simply because we've won, is that Marco should not play right back. He just should not play right back. You've got a right back on the bench and maybe one in the stands in Craig Martin. Play the right backs, especially play Monyani. Why are you not playing Monyani? I think, I wonder why. Is it maybe his defensive discipline? It could be that. But I think he's a decent enough, and he's got the age on his side. So if maybe it's a tactical thing in terms of he's not going to be very good defending. I'm sorry, the eye thing has started again. If he's not going to be very good for us in defending, I mean, he's 22 years old. This is something that he can adapt in his game, and he's a forward convert right back. He's someone who was a striker and a right wing and kept being moved back to right back, and a position was found where he can be very threatening as a right back. I think he's someone who can still learn that position, that right back position, and become better at. But you've got to play him. You have got to play James Monyane at right back. Don't play Marco at left back. Play Marco where he's good. He's good at left back, but it's going to be hard to make those points now because we've won, right? And but yeah, maybe another criticism for Marco, who I always have wonderful things to say about, is that he's the one who costs us in the Swallows goal. Unnecessary for Swallows to score, and that's just one of the other things that I'm disappointed about with my club, the Mighty Bucks Orlando Pirates, is that in games where you're thinking, okay, go on and win 4-0, we will concede a stupid goal in late in the game, and it's always got to be late in the game that we concede a stupid a goal. Is it a case of lapse in concentration? I think maybe that is, but sometimes, a lot of the time, it's when we fail to manage the game. So in that game, I'm thinking, okay, maybe bring on a midfield that's going to keep the ball now. I mean, you guys are 3 goals up front. Bring people that are going to just knock it around. Let Swallows look for it. It's no longer a battle now. Just tie them, move it around, defend with the ball at your feet. Yeah, so easy for me to say, obviously, but I think it's been apparent in a lot of games where we've been up front. I know we won another 4-1 not so long ago. I think it was Stellenbosch. Again, a case of late in the game you concede. Same thing happened against Golden Arrows, if I'm not mistaken. 2-0 up, we concede late in the game. There's been games that we drew. I think it was Cape Town City, or did we lose that game? Same thing. It's you are up front, go and manage the game. You concede early on in the season. I remember versus might have been Chipa United. Yeah, it was Chipa, I think, at Orlando Stadium. You're winning the game 1-0. Yeah, and then you concede late on, whether it be a set piece or whatever. I just think we need to improve in that regard. If I'm to point out a negative, manage games better. We need to learn game management. That's important. That's a part of football. A lot of coaches, opposition coaches, will be encouraged, saying to their clubs, okay, yes, these might go up front and score the early goal, right? But you know you can get a chance in there. They're probably firing up their team for the 80th minute, that if you are 1-0 down against Pirates, 80 minutes in the game, you can still get something. And that's bad for us. I think we need to improve in that regard. But I'm saying this on a day that you can almost say these things without getting angry at them. That we need to be able to manage games better. And yeah, it's not going to be a reaction to Swallows 1, Orlando Pirates 4 without me talking about Saleng. I mean, at this point, I'm running out of superlatives for him. He's such a brilliant guy, such a brilliant player for us, such an important player for us. I mean, what do you say that hasn't been said? But I know there are a few things that I actually want to say that I learned about him in this game. And I know I said the second goal was my favorite goal, but I think personally for Saleng, my favorite goal for him was the third goal. I think why I love the third goal for him is that there's just something I learned, that if he can become good at that sort of thing, then I mean he's just going to be so unstoppable. He's going to be it's going to be hard for us Pirates, let's be fair, to keep him at the club, because let's be honest, we are still a bit of a stepping stone to Sundowns. A lot of players still see Pirates as, if I'm at Pirates, if Sundowns comes calling, I can go there, right? Or a stepping stone to going abroad. But if Saleng, so what I'm saying is that if Saleng becomes a deadly finisher, then he's going to be hard to keep. He's really going to be hard to keep for us. He's got age on his side, 25. He's hot property. If he becomes that sort of player. I mean, we already know a lot about his running, very good at dropping the shoulder, beating a man. So drop a shoulder, touch it, he's gone. You're not getting him. He's gone. And he's also very good at dropping the shoulder. A lot of players have been sold. Some of those players have been on the papers and in the media for ill discipline. You might know who I'm talking about. But a lot of players know that when Saleng drops a shoulder, you're gone. And that's just one of the things that he's good at. He's very quick. Reminds me of Klose Kgolelas. very funny. It reminds me of Klose Kgolela when he used to play for Orlando Pirates. Just that lightning speed. He's got to be the fastest player in the PSL, if not a Dupree. Just those two players have one of them has got to be the fastest player in the PSL. Just the way that he will run past players like they're not there. So a lot of people make the misconception that that's all Saleng is about. They think Saleng is all about the speed and the determination of just how he, and I love how he dribbles, just how many times he touches the ball in front of you, the way that he runs. So I kept thinking, or I keep thinking every time that I watch him that he's someone who reminds me. He's like a hybrid of Iron Robin, and I know that's a huge compliment. So don't come at me. He's a hybrid of Iron Robin in the dribbling, right? In the way that he will almost just go. And I know what you know what I'm talking about. The way that he will always make those multiple touches when he's dribbling you, and he'll almost just get his body away so you don't touch him, and he touches and he beats you for pace and he's gone. Um, but he's a hybrid of Iron Robin and Mohamed Salah in the rawness and the determination and knowing where to be, being brave, taking the shots on. I mean, like the way that he scored against Maritzburg, that goal, that long range goal. You're thinking, no, don't shoot, don't shoot. But Saleng is the only player thinking, all right, let me shoot from here. And it goes in. It just reminds me a lot of Mohamed Salah, and especially that what do you say? That breakthrough season that Salah broke through at Liverpool. It's almost in similar fashion that you thought you were getting a winger. This is the case in Saleng. You thought you were getting a winger who maybe at most is going to score 5 goals for you a season, right? He's going to be more of like a provider more than the main goal threat. But instead, he just has a season where you think, oh gosh, I never expected this from this player. And I hold my hands up. I was part of the people that underestimated. I remember when we were playing against Sundowns at Orlando Stadium for the MTN 8 semi-final, first semi-final this season. I thought, what is Saleng doing on the pitch? Isn't Saleng the guy that we loaned out? Is he back? When did he come back? Why are we putting him on? And that's just been the start for him. And I think he's such a wonderful guy. Also very humble. The way that he talks about his teammates, the way that I mean, every time that he receives a Man of the Match awards, he's very quick to compliment the fans and the teammates. And I hope for the best for him. I hope for the best for his career. In the news this week, there's just been talk about players' ill discipline. I hope he's very professional in the way that he does things. The future is at his feet. I think there's a lot of people watching him right now. He's basically gonna have to choose where he wants to play next. People are gonna come calling for him. And that's sad for me as a Buccaneer, because I want us to keep him. But it's a reality that's gonna come to happen. I think we're gonna have to come to terms with the fact that we're gonna lose Saleng. And if we keep him, it might be against his will, maybe. So yeah, all the best for the guy. All the best for the rest of the season. I think he's really done well for himself, done well for the club, especially. I mean, I've been on here talking about that Saleng saves us. I'm not gonna come out here and say it, even though I think there's a truth to that, and some Buccaneers have agreed with me, some have not, because obviously he's paid by Pirates. But I think the way that he's been contributing for us, I think he's almost single-handedly dragged us out of the slump sometimes. He's encouraged and inspired some of the Buccaneers players to show up just by the standards that he's setting. He's playing head and shoulders above everyone at this point. I can't think of a player who's close to Saleng in terms of contributing for Pirates to win. I really can't. I'm 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 someone who's impressed with Toki at centre back. By the way, I think Toki is so fantastic at centre back. He's doing such a great job that it's going to be a case where it's now either going to be Nda or Sivisi as the other centre back. Happy with Toki. I think he's very solid at the back for us. I prefer him as captain, but maybe I'll talk about the captaincy thing another time. Yeah, but I'm just trying to think which player gets as close to Saleng in terms of performances this season, and I can't think of one. He's just so head and shoulders above everyone in the way that he's performing. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, happy for him. Happy with his third goal to be able to, one-on-one situation. What is he going to do? Because a lot of these pacey wingers, these wing wizards, when it comes to those, okay, now I need you to be composed and pick a spot, finish it, slot it in there. We expect a goal. Can you go and score? They'll usually disappoint. They'll miss or whatever, make a wrong decision or show too much of the ball to the defender who's running behind him. So, I mean, I was impressed with, first of all, the Erasmus pass, quality all around. Head up, first time he sees Saleng going, doesn't even touch it, plays at the same time. Saleng is through on goal. Um, yeah, the way that his first touch opens it so he can hit it with his left, so he can shoot with his left. So he opens his body in the way that he touches it, looks the goalkeeper in the eye. Um, Goalkeeper goes the other direction. He slots it the other corner. Very impressed with that. I think that's a mark of a top player. And if he's gonna keep going like that, where he scores the goal, he scores the goals, he makes the assists, but he's also involved in and around the match, just everywhere, pressing, energy, running back. I think he's absolute gold dust for us to have, and I can be here talking about Saleng for the next 20 minutes, but I'm not going to do that. I know you've already heard this talk elsewhere, maybe, but yeah, very impressed, very impressed. Happy for the Buccaneers. Let's enjoy this win, Buccaneers. It's always good for us to win these games. Let's go on. Also, credit to the technical team. I mean, I wouldn't have lined up the way that, obviously, because I'm not a coach and I don't have coaching licenses. These men are infinity much better than me at knowing how the team should line up and what's the best team to play in what circumstance. I will have played Ndlondlo. I already talked about he's a confidence player. We need to play him. That's how we're going to get him to his best. I know he's got mistakes. He's done a few mistakes in previous games. We need to get him confident again. And the coaches are the people that should know how to get him confident again because they're the people paid for that. But what I'm saying is he's a weapon for us. I would have played him, but the coach thought, okay, I'm going to play Makaula and I'm going to play Tim. To which I raised an eyebrow, like, why are you playing these two players? He played Otto. I saw Otto again. I thought we were going to play Marco at left back, Munyani at on the right, but he played Otto at left back, and it worked out. So credit to the technical team. We didn't play top football, and I mean it's hard for me to say this having won 4-1. We didn't play very entertaining football. Where you think, okay, we would have carved any team open on the day. Because I think if we come against some teams, we would have struggled because our creativity was mainly coming from the front four. It was the fact that the front four had a brilliant game, all of them. And that's why we played so well. But yeah, I mean, still, I want to give credit to the technical team. They will have done their homework and realized that we don't need to be pretty or whatever. We just need to be effective. And effective we were. We scored 4 goals. We won. Enjoy this one, Buccaneers. See you later in the week. Up the mighty Bucks. Cheers.